Religion as like a concept, it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It ranges from being like the most important thing in someone's life to like not even mattering to them at all. And most religions, from at least that I can see, like they follow this system of exchange. There's if you are dedicated to like a certain outlined moral code that is outlined in the religion, then you will receive eternal salvation by God or a higher power. But us Christians kind of believe in a different form of exchange. In the Bible, we remember in like John chapter 21, verses 17 through 19, when Jesus reinstates Peter. Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loves him, and Peter was hurt that he had to ask so many times. And he says, "Lord, you know all things, you know that I love you." And then Jesus responds by commanding Peter to feed my sheep. "Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you want to go." And then Jesus finishes off this little roast of Peter by saying, "Follow me." So, powerful stuff. You see, in Christianity, God already grants us this eternal love and salvation, and understanding. It's unconditional, and there's nothing that we can do to stop it. Like, no matter how big we screw up, he's always going to love us. And when we Christians accept this love and return it back to Jesus, we are upholding our end of the exchange. You see, we have to go into this world and love others as Jesus loves us. That's our end of the bargain. And we have to help those in need who cannot clothe themselves, as Jesus said. We have to feed his sheep and become stewards of the world. That's our goal. But today, I look around and I kind of see an issue with this idea of serving others in Christianity. I feel like nearly every Christian at least recognizes that we need to have this requirement of service in our lives. But many go out of their way to complete the service, but just because the actions are the same, I don't think the intent is always the same for everyone that involves themselves with service. Because I see some people who are what I like to call narcissistically generous. They serve for selfish personal gain instead of like a spiritual one. And honestly, I'm kind of guilty of this. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know exactly what serving or how big serving was to Christianity when I started to serve. And that's how I actually became involved with the church. I remember I went to my first ASP orientation on a whim, practically, because my friend Ty, he just this was like way back before I even joined Joel. He just said, "Hey, there's this thing I'm doing where we're going down to Appalachia and we're going to work on some houses, and it's like there's a lot of cool people going, and it could look good on college. You got good service in there." And I was like, "Okay, it sounds fun." And so when you really break it down, the only reason I went on ASP this year from that meeting was just because there were some friends I knew that were doing it, and also because it looked good for college. But guys, I loved ASP. ASP was amazing. And all the other service trips I've done in high school have just been so amazing to me and have had a huge impact on my life, probably bigger than I even realize right now. Even Ty is kind of guilty of this too, I guess, because his sisters were kind of born into the thing. But we're all involved with ASP, and that kind of led us to really realize how important this trip was to us. I bonded with my crew and my homeowner so much over the course of just a single week, and it made me realize what it really meant to be a truly complete Christian and serve Jesus as Jesus serves us. It changed my whole perspective on religion. I finally realized this other end of the exchange that it helped me expand my own spirituality. I began to understand what the Bible meant, especially in Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. It says, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others and to be seen by them. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others." You don't want to do it for these selfish reasons, I discovered that by doing it for the selfish reason. But now, when I went back on ASP, I chose not to go for myself. I chose to go kind of for God. I was going because I wanted to expand myself spiritually. And I was repaying him for this eternal love that he has granted me and that I have proclaimed. And let me tell you, if you thought it was rewarding serving the way I was before, which it very much was, and serving because of God will just blow your mind. It's just another experience. get so in tune with what his message is, you know? And you can make the worst experiences seem like amazing ones. Like just this last summer, I took a trip to Belize.
Yes.
And see? But in retrospect, it was technically horrible. Because a hurricane had ravaged the country like the week before we were there, and we didn't have any power in the school when we got there. We didn't know when that was coming back. Luckily it did, like very, very soon. And we had injuries galore. Like it was crazy. Like Kendra cut her arm open. Like Cassie fell through a roof, and famously Kevin popped his leg out, or popped his knee out of his socket. It was horrible. And even myself, like I got hives from like an allergic reaction to something I didn't even know. No one figured out what it was, but like I was reacting to something. Maybe and that's another thing. The heat was like you would at the end of a long workday, you would take a shower, and like the moment you would get out of the shower, you wouldn't be able to dry off because you just start sweating again. So you were just constantly wet, and it wasn't like comfortable at all. But you know what? I had an amazing time. It was fantastic. And like, I don't know how that I feel this way about it, but I just know that I had an amazing time. I grew spiritually. I became closer with all my friends. And I really grew closer to God on that trip. And if you don't believe me, just ask literally anyone that went on this trip, and they will tell you the exact same thing I did, that it was amazing. And so, and even like, it even continues to this day. You know, just a job yesterday I did a job that's technically a requirement for ASP this year. It's the senior skills. And so I was doing it, and we were building this ramp for this little special needs boy. And by the end of the day, when we had finished the ramp, he was like running up and down and all gleefully like smiling. And just that moment, it makes you just feel so close to like why we do this. We don't do it because we want to parade this around and just say like, wow, look at how great we're doing this. We do it just because we see the look on their faces. And that's kind of, you got to just imagine that might be what God's feeling, you know, whenever he helps us. It's kind of like, we're doing that. I mean, it's just like this cycle, this chain of command that's really going down. And that's the message. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be God in these instances. That's how we're repaying him for all the favors he's done for us. And you know what? I'm glad to announce that this Saturday, you all have an amazing opportunity, just like the ones that I've said. All right? All right, just senior interns and I, we have organized an amazing event that's going to be a chance for you guys to really serve for God and really have experiences like the ones that I've had. You know, so it's called Ritual Rises Against Hunger, and it's this Saturday at 10 a.m. at Yanity Gym. And if you go online to register at ritualrises.org, at some point between now and Tuesday, you can become a volunteer in helping packaging over 10,000 meals. It's probably up to like around 12 or 13,000 by now, because we just keep getting donations to help those like living in famine all over the world. This is a very personal program, because like the meals that you're packaging in these bags, the next hands to touch those meals are going to be those who need it, those who are in famine, those who are going to be eating it. So guys, if you're a kid out there, like you saw there were some young kids doing this stuff. If you want to do this, get mom and dad to take you and get them in on it too. It's an event for the whole family. Really. Like it's made for everyone, and everyone can have a great time doing it. So if this seems like something to you, and you want to grow spiritually, you know, just please come by and at least try it out. You know, there's going to be like a T-shirt there and pizza. But don't do it for those reasons, right? You want to do it because it's God, okay? You're doing it for God. And that's what serving as a Christian selflessly really is all about. And you're going to fulfill your end of the exchange if you come to this event. And I really hope you all do. So if you feel called to, I want you to come down to Yanity Gym this Saturday and join me in following him, following Jesus, and fulfilling our end of the bargain. Amen. Thank you.